I don't know what to say, really.
Roethlisberger, the quarterback, was all fucking hug it, chug it, football all night.
Hot route! Red 7, red 7, red 7!
Look for me in the end zone after this play. I'll be the guy holding the ball.
John!
What?
Red 7!
I don't know what red 7 means.
Hot route!
I don't. What is hot route?
I know football. What you did with those boys. You were the right man for the job, coach.
You're Hall of Fame in my book.
Featherstones, off to the races.
Don't throw the Stonehenge!
Your seventh pick gives you one. A running back with a rap sheet?
You don't know who I'm picking, 7, Tom. I'm not going to sell the farm for one guy.
Well, you should. Your farm sucks.
Order sucks. It really, really sucks.
You just got your asses whipped by a bunch of goddamn nerds.
Nerds! Come on! Yeah!
I think we ought to tell Coach.
Hell no, you don't want to know about this.
Yeah!
Swenson protected well, lost one to the end zone. Yes, and well, touchdown Cardinals.
Oh, what a great effort. Did you see him go up on that ball?
This is your opportunity
For
here.
you, playing football at West Canaan may have been the opportunity of your lifetime, but I don't want your life.
Hey everybody, it's Michael Govier talking football on a Tuesday. What's cooking?
Go Chargers!
Are you a Chargers fan? Loving the fact that you escaped Miami with a 2-point victory, or are you a Rams fan? Showing some defense, 17-3 domination over the Baltimore Ravens Sunday, or a Browns person who saw Dylan Gabriel do what Cleveland quarterbacks do. The Shedeur Sanders the Hut. Shedeur Sanders the Hut. That is all. Welcome in. I'm Michael Govier. This Pallazzo Podcast, 2 L's, 2 Z's.
Utah.
Make sure you subscribe, like the video, blah, blah, blah. All the things that help the show. If you care at all, if you like us even a little bit, just do something that shows you care. That's all I ask. I'll do something for you. You do something for me, I'll do something for you. I don't ask for a quid pro quo, but I'll do it. I'll do what I got to do. You know what I mean? Where are we now? It's week 7 here. Some of you may have tuned out. You might not tune into the show anymore. You might have come on before and said, hey, you know, I was feeling really good about my team. And now those days are over. I'm living in the past, talking about your teams of the past. Or maybe you got a 7-0 team on the horizon this week, going for that 7th victory. That'd be really cool.
Great job.
I have a mixed bag. I think you're like me. Usually we have multiple teams, right? Who really just has one singular fantasy football team? I want to know who you are. React to me live here in the Pallazzo Podcast live chat. It's wide open. Come on, get in here. Give me a chatter. Give me something. I haven't heard a damn word yet. I don't want to talk by myself. That's a buzzkill. That's not why I'm here. I will say this. Rico Dowdle. Dowdle? Is it Dowdle or Dowdell? I mean, there was a guy named Damian Dowdell. I think he played for the Michigan State Spartans a long time ago. But Rico Dowdle, I made fun of him and made him the cover boy on last week's show because he ran for over 200 yards against the Miami Dolphins at home. And then this week, easily 200, nearly 250 total yards of offense. 183 yards on the ground, 56 yards receiving, and a touchdown in a win over his former team. Like that matters anymore. Players move around so much. Unless there was something really acrimonious that occurred, where a player got cut or was told to get the hell out of here because you're a piece of trash, or, you know, they had sex with his girlfriend or his wife. You know, maybe the general manager son slept with his wife. That would bum him out, do you think? Unless something like that happens, you go from one team, you go to the next. That's just how business is done in the NFL. Am I right? Yes, I am right. Oh my God, Kevin DeBoard. What's up, Kevin DeBoard? When I was growing up in Heartland, Michigan, that's right, Hartland, Harvictory. That's our Heartland battle cry. That used to be something we said in high school to unify us, to bring us together, right? At an assembly. But instead, we used to say something stupid like a bunch of my friends, we go, poop, pop, shits. I don't know what poop, pop, shits are, but that's what we did at the assembly just to piss off anybody because we were teenagers and we were clueless.
Great job.
Anyways, you think Pearsall or Kittle will play? San Francisco, tough break against the MVP, Baker Mayfield. Oh, bye. Everyone knows Baker Mayfield, an apology.
I apologize.
If you said he wasn't going to be MVP because, man, it's looking good. Looking pretty good, isn't it? The Baker Assance is currently in progress. Ricky Pearsall and the Niners have Atlanta this week, back home in the confines of what used to be Candlestick. Now it's called Levi, the Hut, or whatever the hell they call that place. But I think Pearsall will play Sunday Night Football, too. So you got a home crowd. You got a tough loss you just came off of. It's been a minute since Pearsall was around. I think Pearsall will play. But that's just guessing. It's been a while since we've seen him on the field, and it seems like it's close. Atlanta is not a division game, so it's not do or die, but it's a pretty important conference game. If you can get the leg up on Atlanta the way they're playing, right now San Francisco and Atlanta, pretty tight, right? I mean, which team is really that much better? You like San Francisco more or Atlanta more? I think Atlanta actually has more talent. I think San Francisco has the better infrastructure. They've also gotten really lucky this year. I mean, Mac Jones has been there to save their asses. Brock Purdy, will he be back this weekend with Pearsall and Kittle? I think with Kittle, I think we should see him back this weekend, right? Because he's going to return from the IR. He's supposed to practice this week. So I'm going to say that both these guys get on the field, although Kittle might be more limited than Pearsall if they both get on the field. Right, Kevin? Good to have you here, man. Subscribe, like the video. We love having you a part of the Pallazzo podcast. Follow everybody who works here. You know, we do baseball all season long. A lot of those people are in hibernation right now because it was a long-ass season. Oh, my Tigers. Oh, my Tigers. Oh, my God. Why?
Go Tigers.
Can't do it.
Can't do it.
Can't do it. That was a nightmare Friday night. Word on Bill. So, are you worried about Bill? Thanks. You're welcome, Kevin. Good to have you here. What's our concern about Bill? Is that he sucks? They didn't have a great YPC? Or that he had a bogus fumble? That didn't help, right? He had 17 carries for 61 yards, which is great. You got the volume, but he was coming off a great week last week, and then he struggled against the Chicago Bears of all teams, and he had a fumble that was disappointing, I would say, right? Yeah, that was costly because I think the Bears scored off of that. Not cool. I'm not worried about Bill. He's still a rookie. Didn't have a great day, so no. And they just seem to refuse to have any interest in giving Chris Rodriguez the ball at all. I really liked, hey, there we go, Kevin. Just subbed. Gracias. Our Discord, totally free, by the way. That's open 24/7 if you want to talk about football, baseball, or anything else that crops up. Is that what they say? Crops up in the brain? Anything that sneaks into your noggin, Kev. The Discord is there for you. Link is in the description. Always free, all the time. A lot of great people in there who know their stuff, too. Sports Edits with a Z. Hello, Sports Edits. Love to get you to subscribe, like the video, please. I know. I hate asking, but that's the only way. Like, you know how YouTube works. So I shouldn't have to tell anybody. If you care enough, just give us some love. Please and thank you. I don't know what to do right now with Rico Dowdle. I have him, Kyron, and Bucky. So if I don't trade him, I would have to start Dowdle. Any advice for PPR? Another sub. Bing bong. Thank you, Sports Edits. All right, so what are you thinking, Edits? If you don't trade him, you'd have to start Dowdle. So Bucky, I love Bucky. I know he's hurt, but when Bucky comes back, a part of this Tampa Bay offense, which is awesome, man, he's going to be good. And you want to take a look, really, at the schedule. The Bucs come to my Bozo Lions next. We got a Monday Night Football game in Detroit between the Bucs and the Lions. And I'll tell you what, the Bucs and the Lions has become quite a rivalry. It's a budding rivalry, I would argue. Yes, I mean what I say here. I'm not bullshitting you. These teams have played the playoffs twice in the last 3 years. Is that right? Twice, I think. I think we had to beat them twice. No, it's not twice, is it? It was only once. Shit, because last year we lost one game, we were out, so it didn't matter. But in 2023, that was a great playoff game. Well, Bucks came into Detroit last year here in the Motor City, and they beat Detroit the regular season 20-16. I do recall that. So these are two teams that are in the thick of it for legit NFC title contenders here. They want to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl, and both these teams could do it. All this to say that Bucky Irving is going to be a part of an offense that we all want to have a taste of. So let me pull up a schedule here on the screen, which we love to do, to interact with y'all, show you guys what's going on, what time it is. Ooh, let me zoom that in a bit. Boop. All right, so we've got Detroit, at New Orleans, and then a bye. It's possible that maybe Bucky sits both these games if it's still that much up in the air. And then coming off the bye, it's Week 10 at home against New England, which they're a good team, but I don't fear their defense all that much yet. And then at Buffalo, that defense sucks. At the Rams, it's a good defense, but I think Bucky can run on them. Arizona sucks. New Orleans stinks. Atlanta, pretty good against the pass, I think. Not so good against the run, or is it other way around? I have to check the updated stats after last night. Either way, the schedule's not too tough. So if you're thinking playoffs and looking ahead, I can understand why you wouldn't want to let go of Bucky. As far as Dowdle, with Chuba coming back sooner than later, that's going to be an issue. And obviously, he's not going to have these monster stats that Rico Dowdle keeps doing. Well, he's got the Jets this week. That's a lot of fun. Boy, he should probably crack 150 yards rushing against the Jets, even though they played much better against the Broncos in London. London calling, ba-ba-ba-boom-ba-boo-bee. Yeah, so Buffalo, Green Bay, New Orleans, Atlanta, San Francisco, Rams, and then a bye in Week 14 for Dowdle. Oh, that's pretty good, but then you got Chuba factoring in, so you can't be clear on exactly what will happen. I would hold on to Dowdle right now because although there are hot hands that happen, right? Guys get in a little streak and then life goes on. We move forward. But Dowdle is showing that he's competent and more than competent. And based on Chuba's history of being the man in Carolina, you'd have to think that, well, with that calf injuries can be a real bitch. Have you ever had a calf injury? I actually have. And man, it made everything difficult. Your calves are important, folks. Did you know that?
Can't do it.
There's a lot you can't do if your calf's screwed up. So, and then Kyren Williams. I love Kyren Williams. I just love his team. They have an offense that is excellent. They got all the parts there. He had a modest game against Baltimore, just 50 yards rushing and a touchdown, 13 carries, two catches for 40 yards. That was nice. So I don't want to lose Kyren. Of these three running backs here, between Dowdle, Kyren, and Bucky, I think when healthy, I think Bucky might be number one, then Kyren, then Dowdle, clearly. But I think you should trade Dowdle now because when Chuba gets in the mix again, you're going to be like, oh, damn. If somebody's willing to give you a starter for Dowdle, you'd have to sacrifice this week's Jets game, which is a great matchup. So if you're willing to sacrifice the matchup against the Jets this week to get a starter in return for the long term, for the playoff run, then I would do that. I would. Or you can play Dowdle this week and get a solid performance against the Jets defense that has shown us Bubkiss. Bubkiss! What the hell is Bubkiss? Where'd that come from? I don't know. Anyways, thanks, Ed. It's good to have you here. Good luck with your choices. Osiris in his house. Do I trade DJ Moore and Shaheed for Michael Pittman? What? Man, I love Shaheed. If you've never been here before, good to have you here, Osiris. Always a pleasure. I don't think I recognize your username, but I like seeing you here. Shaheed is, he's a playmaker, man. When he gets loose and he makes plays, they're boom or bust. He's your classic best ball asset, Shaheed is, right? So if you could trade DJ Moore and Shaheed for Pittman, are you assuming that DJ Moore is not going to do jack squat anymore the rest of the season, even with the groin issue? I mean, it has just been a miserable experience. Even though DJ Moore, if you look at some of the stats, DJ Moore has been getting open. And he's got to be so pissed that Caleb Williams just has it out for him. It doesn't take a genius to say, hey, throw me the ball, I'm open.
Genius,
you know what I mean?
Genius.
So give me Pittman over those two, I guess. I mean, the Colts are the Colts. They're a real team. I have to accept that they're like a legitimate AFC playoff team. Now, Pittman had 3 straight games of touchdowns, but only did 2 catches for 20 yards this past weekend. And Pittman's at the Chargers next. Hey, obviously the Chargers could be thrown upon. I don't know. I think you're giving up a bit much. Even though I said Shaheed, is a best ball darling. I think you're giving up too much. I would not do this trade. Final answer. I just thought it over. I'm going to lock it in. There you go. Okay? Osiris said, DJ Moore sucks. Let's be real. He doesn't suck. He's open. Caleb Williams not getting him the ball. Caleb is too busy slurping Odunya. Suck it on that dong. Woohoo! Suck it on that dong. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's what slurping means. Let's stop beating around the bush. Let's call it what it is, right? Let me take a drink out of this gigantic water.
Wow, dude.
But I still think it's too much to give up for Pittman. DJ Moore, straight up for Pittman is a trade. Despite him not putting up the stats, Moore has got more of a ceiling than Pittman does, and I don't think that's debatable. That's my opinion. You asked for it, Osiris, and I gave it to you, my friend, so there you go. Hey, what's up? Gittleman back in the house. Good to see you again, Evan. I remember you. Where are we now, Evan? Fill me in. Quarterback waiver help, Aaron Rodgers, J.J. McCarthy, or Jackson Dart? I love Jackson Dart. Now, I know they're going to play the Broncos, right, next. That's not fun. Not fun for a lot of people. But I'm telling you what, this guy is making himself a starter in Superflex leagues for sure. I actually had a tough choice in two different leagues this past Sunday. I have Justin Fields and Jackson Dart, and they're both Superflex leagues. And I chose to play Fields in both, and wow.
Great job.
It did not work out that well. I still won, but it was not because of Justin Fields. Did he crack 50 yards passing in that game? I don't think he did. Jackson Dart is clearly the future of New York Giant football. And I hate the Giants. I don't give a shit about the Giants. Whenever I think about the Giants, that just bums me out. I don't care about the Giants, but Jackson Dart's the man. This guy's the real deal. So I'd rather have Jackson Dart, even though McCarthy has superior weapons. Aaron Rodgers, he's not trying to put up huge stats. They're trying to win ball games. So I don't want Rodgers for fantasy. I really don't. I know we got buys. We got to talk buys coming up this week, right? Week 7 buys. We've got, let's take a look here. Oh, just 2. Buffalo and Baltimore. Excellent. So there's only 2 teams on a bye. So people have to fill in for Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, who you've already been filling in for because Lamar's been out, right? So give me Jackson Dart, then McCarthy, then Rodgers. Yeah.
Wow, dude.
That's how I feel about it. I'm locking it in, okay? I really want to see what McCarthy does coming off the bye for Minnesota. Gosh, I really believe in him. I really do. And he's got such talent to throw to. That should be a party. And if I felt a little bit better, I got to say, my confidence is shaken in J.J. McCarthy. And for those of you that don't know me, I went to University of Michigan, so I'm a Wolverine honk. I have to admit that up front so you know where I'm coming from. Bias is everywhere. We've all got biases, right? And so for me, I think J.J. McCarthy is a solid NFL starting quarterback. He won a national championship in Michigan, and he's got Kevin O'Connell teaching him the basics and showing him the ropes in Minnesota. It sounds like a winner. It sounds like a win, right? I mean, oh my God. But I'm going Jackson Dart, McCarthy, Rodgers. But if McCarthy shows something this week, and he shows me that, okay, I figured some things out after the bye, and while I was injured, sitting things out. Also, I'm not sure, is it crystal clear that McCarthy will absolutely start this weekend, right? KOC helping McCarthy rebuild foundation. What? That's not very, you don't want to read something like that, do you? But JJ is back at practice, and they're taking on the Eagles, too. Eagles are a mess, but will they have Jalen Carter? Will their defense be better this week against McCarthy? That's something to think about, and that's all I have to say about that. Evan also says, I have Josh Allen, so I just need a quarterback for this week. Oh, great. Yeah, well then, for this week only, because Dart's got Denver on the... That's tough. That's a tough matchup. I guess you got to go with J.J. McCarthy because he's taking on Philadelphia, who I don't think is that special right now. And that game is at home for them, I believe, right? Eagles, Vikings. Yeah. So they're at home in the Dome. Well, what used to be the Dome. There's sunshine there now. That's a good matchup. But for 1 week, maybe I should be advising Aaron Rodgers and Pittsburgh, who beat the Browns 23-9. They're at Cincinnati next. Shit! Okay, so for 1 week only, I guess I'm advising that Aaron Rodgers is the guy you should pick up. Okay, final answer, I'm done. Just because of the matchups, and it's a 1 week streamer only. 1 week streamer only. That's important. JP, what's up, my man? Hey, buddy. Happy Wednesday. Great win for you in the Pallazzo League this week. Yeah, I eked one out against JP in the Pallazzo Podcast Invitational Fantasy Football League, which is a 12-team PPR league, 12-team on Yahoo. Sorry, buddy. Buzzkill. Ezekiel, what's up, my man? Ezekiel Ruiz. Good evening, sir. How are you? I hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday evening, and may all your dreams come true, even though I have no power to grant them whatsoever.
Go Chargers, go.
What wide receiver should I go for in waiver to drop Ridley? Okay, well, this is a great question. By the way, Titans finally fired his ass. Brian Callahan sucks as a coach. I'm so glad they fired his ass. Good riddance. That was just a long time coming. Guy was a terrible coach. Terrible coach. So Ridley's got a hammy. Won't be seeing him much. And the Titans are now just trying to play for that top draft pick again, right? Maybe they'll draft another quarterback. How about some offensive line? How about maybe some skill position players? Get some speed on the outside for Cam Ward to throw to, maybe? That'd be nice. But if we're looking at availability here for Week 7, man, let me look at my rankings here. By the way, my rankings, I put them up. I try to put them up every week on the Pallazzo Podcast Patreon, and they're positional and specific with notes and all this crap in it. I haven't updated it for this week yet, but if we take a look at the rankings, some guys that might be available. Well, what about the guy on the main page here on the graphic tonight? Kayshawn, shake, 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 ba-doo, ba-doo, shake, 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 ba-doo, ba-doo, Kayshawn booty, ba-da-bum, ba-da-ba-doo, Kayshawn booty. I mean, I know he just popped with a big game, so it's obvious, but let's see, on Yahoo, what's his roster percentage? Why don't they make this clear? Hey, Yahoo, you suck. Get a clue. They make this so easy in fantasy baseball. For some reason, they're making it harder. 9% rostered. Dude, Kayshawn Booty's available all over the place. He's only 9% rostered on Yahoo. Must add. This isn't a fluke. I know he had some bogus weeks where Drake May wasn't getting him the ball enough, but season-long, big picture, Booty's a focal point. He's a key receiver for them. Him and Hunter Henry, two key receiving options for Drake May to throw to. And I love Booty going forward. This is not just riding the bandwagon either. I have Booty in multiple leagues. I didn't start him in every league, but I did start him in a couple leagues where I needed him for buys and other considerations. And he showed out with 2 touchdowns. So Kayshawn Booty is legitimate. He's not a fluke. This is the real deal. Holyfield. You know what I mean? Oh, Brian. Oh, bless my heart. Bless my heart. You love me? I love you. I like you. Super Troopers, anybody? I like you. No. This is a Spurberry Police. Those rankings aren't the only ones worth the shit. Just saying. Bing bong. Thank you.
Great job,
Brian. Mwah. Thank you, Brian. He's never met me in real life either. So he's saying that because he wants to. Trust me on that. That's true shit. Ezekiel also wants to know, should I sell Addison? I sense McCarthy is coming back. No. No, he's too good. I can see your point here, but if someone's willing to give you someone that's adequate or at least on par with Addison for a trade deal, sure. I can see why you want to get out of business with him, but McCarthy's going to get this going. KOC's going to show him the way. Show me the way. I want you to show me the way. That didn't really fit that song, did it? Damn it. How about this one? Ding dong. Come on, kids. All right, it's nap time. Come on, everybody. Nap time. All right, sorry about that. Kayshawn Booty is an ad. Injury-wise, where's some opportunities to fill in here? The Puka injury, if he's not playing, that's good news for Jordan Whittington of the Rams, right? Jordan Whittington, that's good news. I like that. Garrett Wilson hurt his knee. We don't know the deal there. If he's going to play, Marvin Harrison Jr. got a concussion, so is he going to be available? Man, the box with Egbuka, he had a hammy. That's a total bummer. All right, here you go. This is a guy I love, okay? And I got screwed at the beginning of the year because he didn't do much. So I was hoping that he was going to usurp an opportunity or there was going to be an injury. But Trey Harris of the Chargers. He only had 4 catches for 27 yards on 5 targets for the Chargers in their win over Miami Dolphins down in South Florida. But Trey Harris, if Quentin Johnston's still going to be out, I like Trey Harris. This dude can play. He's a second-round pick, rookie out of Ole Miss. Extremely talented. I think he's more talented than Quentin Johnston. He's just a little bit behind Johnston right now because he just came into the league. But give it some time, and I'm not talking like next year, but this week. Trey Harris getting an opportunity if Quentin Johnston won't play. They're taking on Indy, okay? Indy's got problems on the back end of their defense, all right? Lou Amorono is getting it done. Full credit to the legend, Lou. He's been a great defensive coordinator for a long time with the Bengals, and now he's with Indy. But I'm telling you, I have to give myself a pause here. I got to slow myself down because I get so excited about the future for Trey Harris. And taking on Indianapolis this weekend at home, not that their home field advantage is worth a shit, the Chargers is trash. I mean, if Arnold shows up, maybe that'll, maybe Arnold Schwarzenegger will show up this weekend. That'd be cool. But I like Trey Harris. Also, Kendrick Bourne. If people are still sleeping on Kendrick Bourne, I told you guys 2 weeks ago, it wasn't just a one-week wonder. He came back again this week against the Bucs. He matched his yardage total in half the catches. He had 142 yards receiving again. Kendrick Bourne did, of the 49ers. 142 yards exactly in back-to-back weeks, which has probably never happened ever in the history of the league, right? But he did it in half the catches, 5 catches instead of 10. So this guy's the real deal, man. This guy's always had talent. He's extremely athletic and talented wide receiver. I don't know what it was. Maybe he's a bad route runner. I'd have to look deeper into what it is that limited him and didn't make him more noticeable in his career. But in Shanahan's world, he fits right in. And now they've got Atlanta next. But if you got Pearsall coming back and Kittle, I admit that's going to hurt Kendrick Bourne's value too. So keep an eye on the injuries there. In the end, like I'm saying, Bourne, Harris, Booty. These are wide receivers I would add, Ezekiel. And these are good options for you. I don't think it's a bad idea. I really don't. Let me see if there's any other injuries that might. So with Calvin Ridley and the Titans, good God in heaven. I mean, I don't want to recommend a Titans wide receiver, but our old pal Elic Manor, he should get more targets now, right? Ridley's out. Really, it's Manor and their tight end, Akwanko, who will never score a touchdown because reasons, I don't know what they are, but it's just how it is. Tennessee's got New England at home this week, okay? Not, like I said, I don't fear New England's defense that much. So if Menor's available, that's a great pickup. Now, that's going to be league dependent, of course, but that's another good choice I like. Isaiah Bond. I've talked about Bond before. I know... against the Steelers, he was targeted 5 times, only had 2 catches for 9 yards. I know it's tough to trust a Cleveland wide receiver, but Cleveland does face Miami at home. Okay, so best matchups of this upcoming week. We should talk about that because that's important, okay? Let's see. Who has the worst defenses and which teams are in a position to feast? Well, the Steelers are at the Bengals on Thursday Night Football. That's a pretty good matchup. So if a guy like, if Roman Wilson could just get the ball a little bit more, I like him. Again, though, people are going to say, I've got the Michigan bias because Roman Wilson played at Michigan. Against Cleveland, he had 1 catch for 12 yards. That's not going to be vital. That's not going to help anybody. I get that. But take a look there because of the matchup advantage. As for Sunday, oh, great, we got more European action. The Rams and the Jaguars in Europe. Woohoo! Yay! Wow! Thank you, Jesus. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you, Jesus.
Wonderful, wonderful gift of football in Europe.
Thank you, Jesus.
Football in Europe. All right, so Rams, Jaguars, that's going to be an interesting game, actually. Both those teams can play. Both teams are 4-2. It's a pretty good matchup. Too bad it's at 9:30 in the morning East Coast time. Saints at the Bears. Boy, the Saints could put up some... I don't trust this Bears defense. I don't give a shit what's going on right now. The Bears have won 2 games in a row, 25-24. Has that ever happened in the NFL either? Has anyone ever seen that happen? I don't think so. I don't believe so. Ezekiel also jumping in here. Also need a tight end. What tight end is a better choice? Fannin, Otten, or Ertz? As I interrupt my best matchups of the week here, Week 7, fantasyfootball.com, The Hut. I'm just saying things now. I gotta tell you what, I went away over the weekend for an annual getaway I do with my friends. We've been doing this for 25 years now, and it's called The Feast. So it's basically just 3 days. We rent someplace far away, not too far away, but in the state of Michigan that's remote, hopefully. Get some privacy, and we play video games, we play bags and outdoor, we throw the football around. People smoke cigarettes. For those that smoke cigarettes, they smoke a lot of those. They smoke their weed. They eat their weed. They drink their beers. They drink their liquor. Not me. I don't care about that. And all kinds of fun stuff. Video games. Man, me and my buddy Dave had a classic matchup. It was so much fun. We played NHL 94 on the original Sega Genesis Saturday. That was so much fun. He beat me 3-2. He was the Nordiques. I was the St. Louis Blues. Brett Hull could not score a goal. That was a bummer. But it was a good weekend. But the point of me rambling about this is that we just say all kinds of stupid shit all weekend. So when I'm saying things like Big Ten the Hut or something the Hut, we were cracking a lot of jokes about yada, yada, yada the Hut. I don't know why. It doesn't make sense out of context, and it probably sounds really dumb. I understand that, so I'll stop doing that. All right, so as far as these tight ends, Fannin, Otten, or Ertz. Fannin, the Browns, got the Dolphins at home, but Dylan Gabriel now freaking people out, right? How can you trust this man? Unless you think the Steelers' defense is really that good. You know, Gabriel threw for 221 yards, and he threw the ball, 52 times. Dylan Gabriel threw the ball 52 times and had 221 yards passing on 52 attempts, 29 for 52, and couldn't even crack double digits in fantasy points. That is garbage. Total garbage. Good God, Dylan Gabriel. But he could also blame Quinshon Judkins, who had 12 carries for 36 yards. Not so great. Not what I was expecting out of Quinshon against the Steelers. Anywho, Fannin, okay, if you're throwing that, I know they won't throw the ball 52 times again, but Fannin having 10 of those targets, that was real nice. That was real nice. Now, Njoku and Fannin in that Cleveland tight end depth chart, with Njoku having the knee issue, and there's no update on that, I could see why Fannin is probably the play here. With Otten, you got Baker Mayfield, the MVP.
Thank you, Jesus.
Baker's thanking Jesus for that. No, Baker's doing it. Baker's doing it all by himself. You don't have to thank anybody. You're a good man, Baker. You're playing real well. And then Ertz. So Zach Ertz, he never goes away. He just hangs around. Rounders style. Hanging around. That's what he does. He seems to get a touchdown quite often. And Washington's taking on Dallas in Big D Sunday. That's a nice matchup for Zach Ertz. Woo! I'm going to go Fannin first because the Dolphins are the Walking Dead. Fannin, Ertz, Otten. That's how I'd rank those three, okay? Just if Njoku's not playing, for sure. As long as Njoku is out and not playing, then it's Fannin number one. If Njoku does play, then I'm going to put Ertz one. You got that? Ezekiel, you hear me? We good? Roger. Winner, chicken dinner?
Whatever, motherfucker!
Oh, what do you know? Come on, don't be like that. That's not... How rude. That wasn't me, Ezekiel, by the way. Just want to be clear. Some people have potty mouth around here. Not nice. Anyways, there you go. What else you guys got for me here? I'm live. Michael Govier. Follow me at MJ Govier. Follow everybody on the Pallazzo podcast. Mike Virginia at _Mike VA. Britton Allen. 2 T's, 2 L's. Robbie Baseball. Big Gentle Ben, of course. And Sam Wershing. You can find him on Blue Sky only. But these people are all in the Discord too. By the way, we're doing a baseball show next Tuesday. We're going to do a wrap-up. Me, Britton, and Mike Virginia hopping on to talk about the season that was and what we learned and what we wish we would have done differently if we could, and hopefully maybe discover something about ourselves along the way. Does that sound nice? Next Tuesday, 7 o'clock. Be here for that. Galaxy Pickers. That's a great name. Galaxy Pickers? Like Booger Pickers or like Pick 6? Or is it Galaxy George Pickens? No, it says Galaxy Pickers. Welcome, Galaxy Pickers. Good to have you here. I assume you pick great picks, betting picks, right? Is that what you're talking about? By the way, I want to bet on Sunday. I want to parlay. I keep doing these NFL parlays, and I am getting so lucky, but it keeps happening. That's also available when I'm not out of town. This past weekend, I did not post my cheat sheet that I usually post every Sunday because I was out of town and I took some time for myself. But usually you can find that shit on Patreon, okay? Oh, like American Pickers. Sorry, Galaxy. My bad. Trade Pollard for Baker? My quarterback is Nix. So you got Bo Nix, and running backs are JT, Judkins, JCM, Kendry, and Tootin would flip Bo Nix. Pollard, what's Pollard got to work with there, right? So I love trading Pollard for Baker. I don't know if that person's going to go for it, though. And also, Bo Nix is going to have better days. If you remember last season, as a rookie, he got better as the season went on, and he played his best ball over the final stretch of the season. And I think maybe that'll be the case this year. The Broncos played one of the games that we saw from them last year. Like, remember when they beat the Jets, 10-9 in New York, I think, last year with Aaron Rodgers? The Broncos were playing a lot of really low-scoring games and eking them out, just like they did in London. London calling, right? But, I mean, Baker Mayfield's, he's having an MVP year, and it's not going to stop. They're relying on him. He's their everything. There's no doubt about that. But you've got JT, JT is being real touchdown dependent, but he's getting a ton of volume. He's one of the few backs in the NFL who is absolute volume, so I don't want to lose him. Judkins will have better days. Bill, we'll see. Bill will bounce back, and then Kendry and Tootin are flyers. That's how I see all those players. So, yeah, you can definitely spare Pollard without question, in my opinion, Galaxy pickers, but that's just me, right? They offered, I couldn't believe it. Oh, shit. Oh, did they offer, they want your Pollard for Baker? If so, hit accept immediately. I hope you have already hit accepted. I love it. That's fantastic, man. Congratulations. Round of applause. Galaxy Pickers getting offered sweet deals, and he's saying yes, 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 yes. Oh, man. Congratulations, Galaxy. Very cool. Oh, Britton's here. Hey, Govin, friends. Came by to say hello. What's cooking? Oh, he's pissed. Here we go. I have Egbuka and Puka on the same team. Fantasy football sucks. That's right.
Wow, dude.
Oh, that sucks, Britton. I'm sorry to hear that. But hopefully they're not too serious of an injuries, but it looks like Egbuka will be out for a little bit. Here's Britton talking some more. Bart Simpson chalkboard. I will not start Trevian Henderson. I will not start. Look, I supported that start. You remember you talked about it. You were asking in the Discord on Sunday, and I was all for it. I thought Trevian would have a solid game. I don't regret saying that because the guy could play. And especially without, what's his face being gone now, with Antonio Gibson out of the mix, it's just Trevian and Ramondre. But, sometimes things don't go the way you want them to. Again, 9 carries for 27 yards. Uninspired play by Trevian Henderson. That's bogus. It's totally bogus, man. And it's not cool. I'm sorry that it happened to you, Britton, because obviously you're my man, and we like to support our own here. We support our own. But it didn't work out. And I wish it had. Yeah. That's all I can say about that, really. What else can I say, I screwed up.
Yes, 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 yes.
Yeah. Also, would you drop Trevian for Vidal or Bam Knight? Wow. Is that where we are now? I guess I wouldn't do that. The Saints are good against the run. The Saints can play pretty well. Their defense is pretty good against the run. Ramondre Stevenson, Trevian's backfield partner, had 13 carries for 18 yards. So it wasn't like he blew away Trevian in that game. Ramondre sucked even more. 13 for 18? That's miserable. I would not bail yet. I know Vidal had a great game, but it was also against that Miami defense. That Miami defense that sucks against the run. Gave up 200 yards to Dowdle. I know Dowdle did it again against Dallas, but Dallas's run defense also sucks. We're talking about actually 2 of the worst run defenses in football between Dallas and Miami, right? So I wouldn't bail on Trevian yet, but I can understand if you want to ride the lightning and pick up Vidal on San Diego. I know they play in LA. Thank you very much, but I could see why you do that.
Great job.
And as far as Bam Knight, I guess. I don't buy that Bam Knight's going to be solid week to week. I just don't buy it. So I would hold on to Trevian Henderson, but I can understand if you want to drop Trevian for Vidal, but not Bam Knight, and that's my opinion. You asked me, and I answered. There you go. Thank you very much, Britton. Everybody follow Britton on Twitter X and in the Discord. 2 T's, 2 L's. He's awesome.
Utah. Give me
Jason
2.
Ortiz is here. What's up, buddy? How you been? Jason, you all right? You good? You know, by the way, my middle name is Jason. Michael Jason Govier. Did you know that? And now I just gave that away so everybody could steal my information.
Great job.
Is it okay to drop Carter for Spears, Corum, or Algier? All right, so we're kind of done with Carter. Is it over now? Everyone's moving on. Michael Carter was a one-week wonder. He didn't even play that well against Tennessee. Against Indianapolis, he had 9 carries for 34 yards and 2 catches for 30, although he was targeted 5 times. Remember, Jacoby Brissett played instead of Kyler Murray, so it wasn't like we were getting the real, legitimate, regular Arizona offense, if you will, plus Mr. Harrison Jr. Marvin Harrison Jr. got hurt. So I may Emeril Lagasse this week. Bam, 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 bam. 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 Pow. Well, that's what Madden would say. Pow. On the old John Madden football. But maybe I should run a check here.
So you better run a check.
Yeah. So anyways, Spears, Tennessee's offense is a nightmare, whatever. Corum, is he going to take over for Kyron? I don't, 2 weeks ago, Blake had a fumble, Blake Corum, and everybody was shitting on Corum. And then now, Blake Corum, who's, by the way, questionable for this week, I wouldn't be excited about that. Am I missing something there? And then Algier's awesome. Algier's awesome. I could see dropping Carter for Algier just because even though Algier's secondary to Bijan, he gets opportunities. He scored a touchdown against the Bills, and he gets the chance to put up some points. But Michael Carter still seems like he's the starter in Arizona. Oh, that rhymes. Michael Carter is the starter. But do remember that Trey Benson will come back. He's coming back from the IR eventually, so you got to think about that too. Season long, would you rather have Michael Carter or Tyler Algier? I think I'd rather have Algier, and I don't think it's really that close. Okay, but then again, maybe you got to run a check. You know?
So you better run a check.
Run a check before you finalize that, Jason, but that's where I come out at. Is it okay to go after Vidal, Knight, and waivers and dropping Chubb, DJ Moore, and Kupp? Well, Kupp had a touchdown, didn't he? Kupp scored this past weekend. Was that all he did, so it wasn't good enough? I mean, he's been, 2 catches, 40 yards, and the 1 tutty. Okay, I see that. But Sam Darnold's playing really, really well, and Kupp is out there. He's playing. He's not the guy he once was, obviously, but, he's still clearly the B to JSN's A in Seattle, right? I can see why you want to, remember, guys, this is the thing we got to remember. Kamani Vidal faced the Miami Dolphins, okay? So I don't think we should rush to any super judgments yet. We got to see what he does this week against the Colts. I think it's important to say that. It is. Vidal can play. I even recommended him last week. I was telling you guys last week, PPR, absolutely take Vidal over Haskins. But even Vidal exceeded my expectations for what he would do this past Sunday against those shitty Dolphins D. It's a shitty Dolphins D. And a touchdown on the ground is one that can be guaranteed. But I wouldn't get too crazy yet here. DJ Moore, I could see giving up on Chubb. I don't know if Chubb can hold up over a season. Plus, I've said this before, Houston's O-line is shit. So that makes more sense to me. I can see adding Vidal for DJ Moore and Kupp, or for Chubb and Kupp, but not more. Not more. Holding DJ Moore. I'm not giving up on DJ Moore. And like I said, I still don't think Bam Knight is all that in a bag of chips. I just don't. I don't. But, when I'm wrong, you guys can shove it in my face and tell me what a douchebag I am, okay? And then I'll have to say,
I apologize.
Shut the fuck up!
And then you can say that right back to me, okay? Got it?
Damn!
There we go. Oh, boy. Oh, man. Because tricks like you is bad for my health. Shout out Ice Cube. That's right, Britain. Shout out to the big man. You got it. Vidal has that Rico Dowdle juice. He sure does. I can't argue that. You're making an argument. He's making an argument. Jason had a ton of comments in here. Start one this week or rest of season. Knicks, Caleb, Purdy. Knicks against the Giants D. Caleb against... Oh, didn't I mention this already? The Bear. Oh, yeah. Remember I was doing the schedule, guys. You got me off track here. The Saints are coming into Chicago. So Caleb Williams taking on the Saints, who are competitive. The Saints can hang in there. They're not just some team that the Bears are going to blow over, right? Or Purdy, if he's back at home against the Falcons. I got to go Caleb, but... No, I'm going to go Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix will play better. I think the Giants' defense is pretty solid, actually, though. I think it's tougher than the Atlanta defense or the Saints defense. This is a tough one, man. I think it's real tough, but I think it's going to be Nix, Caleb, and then Purdy, because I got to see what Purdy's got going on first. He's third for me, okay? But I can see if you'd rather go Caleb against the Saints at home over Nix at home, that's fine. But I think Bo Nix will bounce back, and they should be able to take it to the Giants, but it's also a better matchup for Caleb Williams and the Bears at home against the Saints. I admit that freely. There you go. Start one this week, rest of season. Fields, Caleb, Jones, Darnold. I'm still playing Fields everywhere. He has a shit week. He has a great week. He has a shit week. He has a great week. He has a whiskey drink. He drinks a lager drink. And then a lager drink. He drinks a cider drink. That's what you get. That's what you get with Justin Fields. He's Chumbawamba. Justin Fields is Chumbawamba. You get a shit week. You get a good week. So since we had a shit week last week, we're going to get a good week. Chumbawamba, tub thumping. We'll be singing. Caleb Williams, he can hang. Daniel Jones is playing incredible. Daniel Jones is a real deal, but so is Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold has been fantastic. I picked him up in week 2 in a couple of my leagues, and he has been a lifesaver. When I had J.J. McCarthy go down with that injury, Sam Darnold has carried the load every week. Every week. Look at this. Multiple touchdowns. He threw 2 in the win over Jacksonville on the road. They win on the road, too. They lose at home. It's a weird season for Seattle. And Daniel Jones has just learned Steichen's system quite well. Shane Steichen has a quarterback now that he can trust. Daniel Jones ran one in for a touchdown, and he threw 2 against that Arizona team. Daniel Jones is a legit fantasy option here. So I'm going to say I love the potential of Fields, but when he gets bad matchups, it all just seems to go to shit. I'm going to go Fields, Jones, Darnold, Caleb. There you go. I think that could change week to week depending on matchups, too. That's a very fluid situation you're offering there, okay? You got that? Tub thumping reference. Govier is on his game tonight, y'all.
Great job.
Thanks, Britton. That's right. Pissing the night away. Pissing the night away. Vidal has, yeah, okay, I got that one. I love that. Pissing the night away. I'm so glad the chat is allowed to say pissin'. Usually they try to bleep out bad words in there. So know this, folks. You can say pissin' in the chat from now on. Isn't that great news? That's wonderful news. All right, the rest of Jason's essay here. A lot of questions he shoved down my throat at once. Well done. He gave me another scenario. Start one this week or rest of season. Fields, Dart, Darnold. I mean, for this week, let me reiterate here if I didn't make that clear before. Carolina's coming to play the Jets, so the game's in New York. And their defense has been pretty good against the run, but not so great against the pass. But I think Justin Fields in unscripted run plays where he takes off on pass plays, that's going to be easy for him to do as well. I expect Justin Fields to have a much better game against Carolina this week. Jackson Dart's got the Broncos. That's tough. The Broncos D is really starting to freak me out. They're playing real good now. They're playing their best ball of the season, I would say. And then Darnold's good, man. Darnold gets shit done. Darnold just gets shit done, and we don't appreciate Sam Darnold. He's forever underappreciated. Why is that? Probably because he had some bogus years in the NFL before he became who he is now. Also, Darnold and the Seahawks are taking on the Texans. That's a tough defense. So I think it's a no-brainer here. Fields all day. Locking it in, okay? And then one more here from Jason. Start one this week or rest of season. Ertz, Mason Taylor, Mayer, Juwan, Ingram, Theo, you grounded. You ain't my pudding pops, Theo. I also became somebody who can't be trusted around women, putting it mildly. What a fucking scumbag. Cosby, you fucked us. Thanks a lot, Cosby. You screwed us. Everyone believed in you. And you set America back 30 years, Cosby. You did. Pissing on the urine-stained mattress, baby.
Give me back my
I love that.
Give me back my son!
I love that so much. That's an old one from the early days of this show for those of you that have been around since day one. Britton got a good memory for that stuff, and I love that about you, Britton. So as far as these tight ends, Zach Ertz, man, I already explained it early in the show. He's got a nice matchup this week. It looks pretty tailor-made. Mason Taylor, I just don't know that you can trust Justin Fields week to week, but the Panthers, Panthers could be exposed against tight ends a little bit. I like that. Michael Mayer is a 1 week wonder, in my opinion. I don't buy that. Juwan Johnson's got a lot of competition with Taysom Hill and Foster Moreau. That's not easy. Ingram, I like Ingram, but he's had injury issues, so Evan Ingram has been limited, but he gets clear running. And he had 5 catches for 42 yards against the Jets. Even had 1 rush for 7 yards. I like Ingram this week against the Giants. And Theo Johnson's my guy. But against that Denver D, it's tough. I like Theo Johnson a lot. I think Dart has a good rapport with him. He trusts him as a safety valve, his tight end, in the Big Apple. But this week, that matchup ain't so great. So I like Ertz and I like Ingram this week. Those are 2 guys that I would pick for this week. Rest of season, it's a crapshoot. That's too much of a crapshoot. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel about it, okay? Did I get all those? Yeah, I think I did. Oh, you did it to me again. We just covered this. Yeah. It's still Ertz and Ingram. Yep, I'm feeling good about that. Who would you flex? Charbonnet or Henderson? I know Britton's not going to like this, but Charbonnet's taking on the Texans. That's rough. I'd rather have Trevion Henderson, who gets to face a less stiffer opponent in the Tennessee Titans. This is the thing about the NFL, man. Let me give you a good example. You got to go back to the well. This is the lesson I'm trying to share with you all. The hardest thing to do is when you get burned in the NFL in 1 week in fantasy football, and then you got to go back to the well the next week with that player, even though you're pissed that they burned you the week prior. Jameson Williams was the example. Last week, tasty matchup against Cincinnati. Tasty. Doesn't do jack squat. It seemed like everybody else scored for the Lions last week, but not Jameson Williams.
Wow, dude.
And I was hurt. I was upset. I admit it. It was a tough thing to get over. When your player doesn't score and you're really banking on them for an anytime touchdown, or in your DFS, or in your own fantasy league, Jameson Williams wasn't there for me when I needed him. But the rule of going back to the well, even though I was pissed at him, I knew, you know what? He's going to score a touchdown against Kansas City. I don't know why, other than the fact that you got to go back to the well. So you go back to the well, and what does Jameson Williams do? He scores a touchdown against Kansas City. There it is. That's just what happens. So, as I reflect here with you on the Pallazzo podcast, live, 2 L's, 2 Z's.
Utah.
By the way, we got a big weekend coming up in Arizona for the first pitch. First Pitch Arizona, 30th anniversary, First Pitch Arizona, which is a wonderful 3-day fantasy baseball conference, 4 days really, from Thursday to Sunday that takes place in Mesa, Arizona, at the Sheridan, right next to Sloan Park, where the Cubs play spring training. And catch us there, November 6th through the 9th. We're going to have a great time, including doing a podcast. But yeah, start Trevion Henderson this week. It didn't work out this past week. Go back to the well, my friends. You'll thank me later, okay? Britton, I'm talking to you too. Hear me now. Hear me now, believe me later. All right, as far as the matchups I like for the rest of this week, we were doing that. And the live chat just always jumps in. We have a good time. Oh, JP knows. Yeah. Excited for FPAS. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's right. Girls' Day. JP knows. JP's the audio man there. That's how we met. That's how we connected. JP's the best. So glad that we connected and have a friendship now. That's how cool this stuff can be when you do a show, or like if you do a podcast and you get into fantasy sports and you connect with people. You can get real relationships out of it, and it's really cool. It really is. I'm grateful for that. No bullshit. I said no bullshit, right? No bullshit.
That is bullshit.
No bullshit. All right, here's the rest of your matchups we're talking here. So the Browns are at home against the Dolphins. I know the Browns are a nightmare offensively, but they got to be able to put up some points in that one, I think. Raiders are at the Chiefs. That should be a free-for-all for the Chiefs. The Raiders are trash. They're trash. God, they're trash. Eagles-Vikings, like I said, J.J. McCarthy's return against the Eagles. Not an ideal matchup, and I'd like to see what that Minnesota defense could do against that Eagles offense as well. Will they open it up more on that track? It's not a track meet type field in Minnesota, but it's a good field to run on. Carolina, the Jets, that screams high scoring to me. That should be a high scoring game, more surprise. I always like to look, all right, what are the games that are going to crack 50 total easy? Jets, Panthers, to me, screams over 50, which means fantasy points galore. Titans, Patriots, I can see that. I can see the Titans doing nothing and the Patriots doing a lot, but we'll see how that plays out. It still is the NFL, and they fired their head coach. Callahan is gone. He's shit canned. So will that mean that the Titans rally? It's going to be It's going to be tough for the Patriots because these are the type of games where you can get, you sleep on a team and they can get you. Jump up and bit me. That's what the Titans might do to the Patriots, jump up and bite them. But either way, it's a good matchup for the Patriots offense and streaming defense too. New England against that Tennessee offense, good call. Giants, Broncos, I think that's going to be a tight, lower scoring affair because there's two pretty good defenses on the field. But if somehow Bo Nix can expose the Giants and open it up a bit, that'll be a real nice bonus. But I see an under in that scenario off the top of my head. Colts at Chargers, screams over 50. Plenty of points. The Colts went out to face the LA Rams a couple weeks ago. They lost 27-20, but they left more points on the field. So I'm expecting a lot of points in Colts Chargers. Play everybody you got. Good matchups for both offenses there. Packers at Cardinals. The Pack, they're not looking dominant, but they're getting wins, and they only have one loss this year, so they can hang their head on that. Against the Cardinals team now, if they come back, will Kyler Murray be back in the lineup this week? I don't know, so that's incomplete at this time. But regardless, good matchups for all your Packers on offense to take on that D. Cowboys, Commanders, oh my God, that is going to be a shootout. It's going to be a shootout galore. 60 points or more possibly between the two teams. That's a great opportunity. Start all your guys without question. And then Sunday, farts. What happened there? That's not what I wanted. And Sunday night, it's the Falcons and the 49ers. And that could be middling, but I don't fear either defense enough to really be threatening or to sit anybody. Monday Night Football, we got another doubleheader. Another doubleheader on Monday Night Football. My Bozo Lions against the Bucks. We should see a lot of offense in that one, even though last year's game was 20-16. I see offense, I see offense, I see offense. And Texans, Seahawks. Texans D travels everywhere, so Seahawks are going to have a challenge. Both of Seahawks' losses are at home. And one of them was a low-scoring, tight affair week 1 against the Niners. And Houston plays that way, so I'd be a little hesitant about my Seahawks. Although you never bench JSN at all. You play JSN all the time. But that Houston defense is really good, man. I believe in the Houston defense wholeheartedly, and I picked them up, and I'm using them as my defense week to week because I trust them without a doubt. Mateo's here in the live chat, and Mateo says, I got offered McLaurin for Egbuka. Don't know how long Egbuka will be out. Well, we got to look at the bye situation too, right? Because, teams sometimes like to play into the bye so that they can use it as an opportunity for their player who's injured to get well. And as I mentioned earlier in the show, Egbuka's got 2 more games, and then Tampa's on their bye. So I think the likely scenario, now again, things could change. No shit, right? Things could change. I think we all know that, right? Oh, wow. I didn't mean to hit that button.
Whoopsie daisy.
Oh, that one's appropriate. Whoopsie daisy. But things could change. But right now, as you're talking to me, you're asking me, I'm giving you the answer I have with the information that's available to me now and based on many, 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 many years of experience of playing this shit and doing it every damn year, right? So you can thank me later when I tell you that Egbuka will probably be out through the bye and then comes back strong post-bye for the Buccos.
Man, I'm glad I called that guy.
You might not say that, but I'm hoping you will. I think that's how it's going to look out. So if you get offered McLaurin for Egbuka, I love Egbuka so much. I would never want to trade him, especially in Dynasty. I'm never trading him. But for redraft, it looks like you'll get Egbuka back after the week 9 bye. So you get Egbuka back for week 10 New England, Buffalo, Rams, Arizona, New Orleans, and then playoffs is Atlanta, Carolina, Miami. Some pretty good matchups there that I'd want to hold on to. And I don't like McLaurin this year. I thought he would fall back, and we've already seen that because he hasn't played enough. There's no way he's going to match his touchdown totals from last year. But, it's still a pretty good offense in Washington. They've got rapport between him and Jaden Daniels. So if you're liking McLaurin because you want to win now, you need a guy to help you now, I understand why you'd want to do that. But I would not do that. I would be patient because McLaurin's also had this quad issue too, right? But he's been sitting out from that and is supposed to come back this week against Dallas, which is a really tasty matchup. But I'd rather hold Egbuka. Final answer. A lot of blabbing just to say I'd hold Egbuka.
You better lock it up. You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
Bri. Hey, Bri. Thoughts on Tez Johnson? Is this a real question? Like, you think he's viable? Or because I think he scored 1 touchdown on 1 catch. 3 targets, 1 catch, 45-yarder for Tez Johnson. Also, the other Johnson on Tampa Bay, Cameron Johnson, had a better game than him, arguably. But I think Tez is a nice player, but Evans is coming back. Godwin, we got to see what's going on there. Also, remember, Jalen McMillan's in the mix too. He's coming back. So I think Tez is more of a fluke, like week to week. He might catch a ball that matters, but it's not enough to have volume or consistency, in my opinion. Now, you'd have to have a deep league for this to really matter, right? Unless I'm missing something. Bryce says he was the best receiver in college. You never know. No, the guy's got talent. Tez Johnson, he's in the NFL. The guy can play. I don't have any doubts about that. But it's the Tampa Bay wide receiver room. The place is loaded. I mean, it is just loaded. Kids got talent. I agree. But it's not about talent in fantasy football. It's also about opportunity. All these guys have talent. They're all in the NFL. But who's got the job? Who's getting the snaps, right? I mean, let's look at the snap share from this past game, which I don't think is indicative either of what Tampa's future snap share will look like, because they got guys coming back with Godwin and Evans, right? These are two huge guys that are going to get the majority of the snaps when they're healthy. Last Sunday, Tez Johnson got 72% of the snaps. That's a huge number, no doubt about it. He had the most snaps of any wide receiver out there in Week 6 for the Bucs. That's great. But is that going to continue to happen? He had 36 the week before, 32 the week before that. And the targets have been scattered. I mean, the week before last, he had 4 catches on 4 targets for 59 yards. The guy can play, but I'm just worried about when all these old dudes come back, what the hell is going to happen to Tez Johnson? How's he going to fit in when you got veteran, Pro Bowl, all-pro guys like Mike Evans or Chris Godwin in the mix, and Sterling Shepard, and Egbuka when he comes back? But with Egbuka being out, and they're facing the Lions this Monday night, I think Tez Johnson could be a good ad for this week. I think that's a good call for this week, because we don't know who's going to be available yet for the Bucs. But Tez Johnson has gained the trust of Baker Mayfield, and right now he needs a fresh body to throw to. So for this week, in Week 7, Tez Johnson, solid pickup. I'm going to lock that in. I think that's a good call on your part, Bri, and I'm glad you brought it up. Good job.
Great job.
Great job. Good call. Jamie's also had, what's up, Jamie? McMillan isn't coming back this year, so Tez Johnson, why not? Oh, McMillan's done? Oh, shit. I was trying to check on that. Oh, yeah. He's still in a neck brace. But he says he doesn't know when the receiver... We don't know that he's out for the year, though. As far as him playing this year, Todd Bowles, head coach of the Bucs, said, I hope so. So, yeah, so he's not officially out for the year, though, let's be clear. But that's your opinion, I assume, Jamie? Either way, I don't think it's going to matter, because the studs in that receiver room for the Bucs are going to be Evans and Godwin and Egbuka and Shepard and Tez Johnson. Tez. But Cameron Johnson played well, too. So which Johnson? You prefer Tez or Cameron? Pick your Johnson for this Monday night against the Lions in Detroit. It's going to be interesting. 2 Johnsons. 2 Johnsons for the price of 1? Let's go, Tez. Brian loves Tez. He's big on Tez. I like that. I like this intensity for one player. Britton says, the Baker Mayfield love out there is for reals. I'm buying in. I hope he wins the Super Bowl, and thanks the Browns for teaching him nothing. I love it too, man. I mean, he's playing my Lions on Monday night, so I hope the Lions win, but I'm always rooting for Baker any other time. The guy's... You don't need to root for him, though. The guy can play. The guy's legit. He was a top pick for a reason, right? The Browns are just going to Brown. That's what the Browns do. Tom Tom's here. Hello, Tom Tom. Is this Tom Tom? Is there a song by a band called Tom Tom? Or is that a single? I can't remember if it's a song or the band Tom Tom. No, I'm stoning out here. I thought it had something to do with the Talking Heads. Never mind. Disregard me. Please, disregard me. To regard me. All right. Should I trade CeeDee Lamb for Rashee Rice, Jordan Addison, and Cortland Sutton? Oh, yeah. Are you kidding me? You get all 3 of those guys for CeeDee Lamb? That's a lot of return. Rashee Rice alone is going to be worth the price of admission. Him and Mahomes, fully healthy, Rashee Rice is going to be their number 1 wide receiver, and you're going to know it. So Rice alone is worth it. But then you're getting Addison and Sutton? Maybe the value is crazy, so I would do it. And as far as CeeDee's ankle, I mean, how can you trust it? How can you be sure? Oh, yeah, that's going to be fine. It's all going to work out. I don't think so. Britton says, I'd hang on to Lamb. He'll be back soon, and Dak is balling out. I see that. But George Pickens has really asserted himself in Dallas this year. So don't forget that. I know CD's still going to be in the mix. He's clearly going to get his touches when he's healthy. But George Pickens has established himself as a dominant force. Yeah, 170 yards receiving on 8 or 9 catches and a touchdown against Carolina. George Pickens is... Pittsburgh got sick of his annex, but Dallas loves what George Pickens has to offer because him and Dak are a connection. It's about connections, man. It's about connections. It's not about butthole pleasures. It's about connections. And George Pickens and Dak Prescott have one. But, I mean, CeeDee Lamb speaks for himself, but the weeks keep going by. He doesn't play. And I know you can say, well, when he does play, he'll be awesome. And he's supposed to practice this week, but he hasn't played since week 2. But his first 2 weeks, he had over 100 yards receiving in both games. So CD and Pickens are going to be a real force, man. But they're both going to get split up a bit. Both of them are going to get opportunities and reps. It's just be interesting to see now that Pickens has established himself more in Dallas, how much will CD get when Pickens is on the field at the same time? And Jake Ferguson. Let's give Jake Ferguson credit. Jake Ferguson he's having his best season of his career in Dallas, the tight end. And last year I loved Ferguson, and I didn't get the touchdowns that I'm getting this year, and that pisses me off. You know why? Because I didn't go back to the well. There you go. I brought it all full circle, bringing it together. All right, that's it. I'm out of here. I'm going. I wish you all well. We got some wide receiver ads to choose from as Week 7 kicks off into full gear. Best Pickens, George or Carl? Ooh, that's tough. It's easy to pick George now, but Carl Pickens, Jeff Blake to Carl Pickens in Cincinnati. That was Jeff Blake threw one of the best deep balls I've ever seen. It was a gorgeous deep ball, and Carl Pickens would just run right out of that thing. Oh, he was good. Who was his running mate? I think it was Carl Pickens and somebody else in Cincinnati. Man, Pickens was good. So I'm going to go Carl Pickens. I know I don't want to use the recency bias. I don't want it to get the best of me. I want to give Carl Pickens his due. He was a hell of a wide receiver. Good call, Britton. Shout out to Carl Pickens, wherever you are out there right now on this earth. Or if he's dead. I hope he's not dead. If he is. Oh, Darnay Scott. That's right. Carl Pickens and Darnay Scott. They were a deadly combo. 1994, Carl Pickens had 71 grabs for 1,100 yards and 11 touchdowns. Hell yeah! Carl Pickens, he was a Tennessee Vol. No shit. I'll tell you what. Tennessee's got a big one this weekend against Alabama. The ultimate game. Alabama, Tennessee, a lot of hate in that matchup. Although Saban's gone, people are still pissed. That's going to be a good one. I think, I haven't looked at the line yet. I would have to assume, I think that game is in Alabama off the top of my head. Am I wrong? Yep, that game's in Alabama. Whew, that's going to be tough. I'm going to say Alabama's probably favored by 6.5. That's my guess. I haven't seen the line on that yet, but I assume Alabama's 6.5 point favorites against Tennessee, who can score with anybody. The Vols can score with anybody, but the problem, Britton, is that defense. You got to worry about that D. So, Britton's saying Tennessee actually beat Bama last year, so it's going to be a bloodbath. They did. I know. They finally overtook them last year. It was about damn time. I got one more question here from Bronson. What's up, Bronson? Good to see you. You snuck in before we wrapped up. I'm so glad you jumped in here, though. Trade Devontae for, is that BTJ? Brian Thomas Jr. or Waddle? I would do it for Brian Thomas Jr. I love Devontae, but Brian Thomas Jr. finally scored a touchdown this past weekend. I think he had 8 grabs. I would rather have him than Devontae, but Waddle, I have to trust that Tua is going to be getting him the ball consistently, and that Tua will still be on the field. Waddle's been real solid. He's had a couple nice games. He scored 3 touchdowns this year. It's been a decently solid year for Jalen Waddle, but I'm just BTJ is just better than Waddle in my opinion. So if you can get him, even though I love Devontae in that Ram situation, and in fact, with the injury to Puka, Devontae becomes the stud. You have to think about this, right? Devontae is the wide receiver 1 with no Puka due to the ankle issue. And, Devontae was targeted 9 times in the Baltimore game, but only had 4 grabs. So I haven't seen all those throws, so I don't know if they were good throws or bad throws. But the Rams got Jacksonville in Europe next, and without Puka, I assume Puka's not going to play. Devontae is the absolute focus of Matthew Stafford. And if history's taught us anything, when you are the absolute focus as a wide receiver of Matthew Stafford, that's where you want to be. That's the place to be. He will give you targets up the wazoo.
Thank you, Jesus.
Yes, Devontae will be thanking Jesus, Vishnu, and everybody in between, because Stafford to Devontae with no Puka, of course. We don't know how long that'll be, if at all. That's a real gold mine of fantasy. Man, if Puka doesn't play this Sunday, Devontae will easily get double-digit targets and should score at least 1 touchdown in that game against the Jags. But season long with Puka in the mix, I'd rather have Brian Thomas Jr. Okay? Does that make sense, Bronson? I'm sure you heard me loud and clear. Jamie says, BYU, though, they're looking good. I love it. Yeah. The Cougs. Way to go, Cougs. Cougs are fun. It's a fun team. By the way, check out Auto Rhythm Sports YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to it. Jamie's the man. Good college shit over there. Good stuff, football in general. Yo, I need an upgrade at quarterback. Who to target, Dak or May? Well, Dak's got the Commanders and May's got the Titans next. But season long, the schedule? Have you looked at the New England... Guys, the New England Patriots schedule is shit. So I think the schedule favors Mr. Drake May considerably. But Dak can ball against anybody. So I'd flip a coin on that one. I really would. It seems like Dallas actually leans on the running game a tad more than... Well, New England ran the ball, but they just can't run it for shit. New England's got to figure out their running game. But for now, it looks like it's just Drake May and a really easy schedule rest of the season. I think I'd rather have it by a hair, even though I might trust Dak more just because he's been around longer. But look at that schedule. You might see the difference yourself, Broly. Take my word for it, okay? Good man. Or woman, whoever you are. And then Shadow's Wicked. Need a wide receiver. Should I drop Pacheco or Woody Marks for Bourne or one of the Bucs wide receivers? I have Egbuka, and Pearsall on the bench. So Pearsall should play this weekend. I'm banking on Pearsall playing this weekend as of now on Tuesday night. And then I think I said about Kendrick Bourne earlier in the show is that with guys like Pearsall coming back, with Kittle coming back, it hurts Bourne, even though he's showing out. But he could lose opportunities and targets because of the return of Pearsall and Kittle. And with Purdy coming back, it seems like Bourne has a better connection with Mac Jones than Purdy, right? So I think all those things factor into it. But Woody Marks, I don't care about him. I know he was the darling a couple weeks ago, but look where we are now. Now nobody gives a shit about Woody Marks. And they're taking out Seattle next. That won't be an easy task in Seattle. So I could drop him for one of the Bucs guys we talked about. Remember, we talked about Cameron Johnson or Tez Johnson, as Bry, our guy in the chat, was touting Tez, and Tez has had some opportunities here. So one of the Bucs wide receivers is a good call. Tez or Cameron. Sterling Shepard's out there too. Yeah. Also, I mentioned Kayshon Boutte. If he's still out there, he was 9% rostered on Yahoo. Kayshon Boutte. Also, Elick Eomenor of the Tennessee Titans with no Ridley. There are wide receivers out there. I repeat. And I also mentioned earlier in the show, Jordan Whittington of the Rams. If there is no Puka this Sunday, Jordan Whittington gets a big boost, and he'll be a big ad, a priority ad for a lot of people, I think, regardless. Calvin Austin of the Steelers, by the way, he's got a shoulder issue. He did not play against Cleveland, or did he play against Cleveland? But yeah, we're not sure if he's going to play this weekend. So if Calvin Austin doesn't play for Pittsburgh, that opens the door for my guy Roman Wilson to maybe finally get something going, okay? So keep an eye on Roman Wilson as well. That's a deep ad, but if Calvin Austin doesn't play for Pittsburgh, remember they got Cincinnati on a short turnaround. I would expect that Calvin Austin doesn't play because it's a Thursday night game. So if you got a shoulder issue, that's a quick turnaround, and that's good news for Roman Wilson of the Steelers, who was a legitimate draft pick of the Steelers, too. It's not like he was just some undrafted free agent either. He's legit, okay? Also, Olamide Zacchaeus of the Bears, he still gets the targets every week. Look at the targets. Caleb Williams in the Washington game, he targeted him 6 times. Olamide only had 2 catches for 24 yards. He had 1 run for 4 yards. But Olamide Zacchaeus against the Saints. Caleb Williams continues to look his way. That's another ad if you're looking at buys or replacement wide receivers for the week to come. I mentioned Isaiah Bond of the Browns earlier because they're taking on Miami at home. Chris Moore of Washington. Chris Moore is an old, savvy vet who keeps hanging around. He had a touchdown for the Commanders against the Bears in their loss. 3 catches, 46 yards, and a tutty. And he's been getting a lot of snaps. So in my rankings, I actually mentioned him and put him up a lot 2 weeks ago because he was getting more snaps. But if Terry McLaurin comes back, it's bad news for Chris Moore. Obviously, you got to look at who's in, who's out, and how that's going to play out for the week to come, okay? Right? There's also Chimere Dike of the Titans. I mentioned Elick Aomanor, but a less rostered is Dike. Chimere, I don't know if it's Dyke or Dike. I've not heard the pronunciation. But he's in the mix with no Ridley as well. Solid receiver. And I mentioned in the show, if you're just joining us, Trey Harris. If there's no Quentin Johnston, I want Trey Harris. The guy can play. Jamie says, I just dropped Roman Wilson in Dynasty. I gave up hope on him. Production wasn't there for me. Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. It's been a bummer. So there you go, Shadows Weekend. A lot of options, so many things to choose from. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm Michael Govier. It's a Pallazzo podcast. 2 L's and 2 Z's here. We always appreciate your business and time. Please subscribe, like the video. You know the things that help the show. You know how it works. You know how YouTube works. And the Discord's free. The Discord link is in the description. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365. Discord's always open. It's completely free. And if you want to check out the Patreon, give that a roll. College football betting, NFL betting, fantasy football, of course, fantasy baseball, lots of stuff over there. And if you get in there and you hit me up and you want help, I'll give it to you directly, 1-to-1. I like to help out directly, 1-to-1 on the Patreon. All right, wow, I cannot talk anymore. My mouth is super dry. Thanks, everybody. For everybody in the Pallazzo podcast, 2 L's, 2 Z's.
Give me 2.
That's okay, Brian. You could like the video right now. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.